It's been a busy week in Watcher of Realms. We've had a massive patch and loads of new content arrive on the global servers. And the devs have taken a new leaf into communication with the players. So stick with us while we go over what's new in Watcher of Realms. Hello and welcome once again to What's Going On. I'm Octurus and we're here, of course, with Mystical on the Forerunner server. Before I forget, please do remember to like, share and subscribe because it really does help grow the channel. I had a lot of people join me this week after all of the people came to see my guides for the basics and Starpiercer trials. So I hope you enjoy this content because this is most of what I do, and these will be the videos you'll see from me. So to start with, new Codex boss. What have you thought of it so far, Mystical?
Oh, it's nice they're doing new stuff. But there's an issue with it, isn't it? But it is under beta anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
So sort of in two minds. Again, they are following this format, aren't they? Now
Releasing buggy content and then saying no, don't upgrade those heroes because we didn't actually mean it to work like that.
Yeah, I mean, we used to get this on the Forerunner all the time, didn't we? Which is what we were there for. But I mean, now it just gets released at the same time. But it's very much, I don't know. I don't know if it's a right or a wrong thing. If you go further in it, you get more rewards, which is probably right. But the gap between the players that have and the havers not is just going to get bigger and bigger. The more of this sort of content that comes out, there is no way for a smaller account to catch the bigger ones at any point that I see.
Yeah,
if there was content where someone could play a lot of it and catch up, then they could swap their time for maybe catching up an account or something like that. I don't know, but I think this sort of content is just growing the gap between them.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a fair assessment of this sort of staggered content, especially when some of the sort of the really juicy rewards are pushed up into sort of like the higher thresholds. And obviously they've like tried to introduce some things fairly early on. Obviously there's some recast hammer shards quite low down, but you need to be getting quite a long way up in order to get enough to recast to get a full one if you're not doing this on a regular basis. And from what I've heard, this content's pretty difficult. I've been kind of holding off, not only for the purposes of the podcast, but also I was just kind of sitting back and seeing what settled in before I did my runs. And I know it started off with like Infernals and Janus, who is the sort of the first hero in the game who's dual target once she's got all her eggs down. And now we've got a situation where it seems to be it seems to have flipped to currently a nightmare cultist composition with Yerlis and Disomi as the ones who are really driving the scores on this. I know there was a video from Banana Luck which came out this afternoon. This is Friday afternoon. Yeah, that seems to be sort of like where the big scores are coming from at the moment. If you want to run an Infernal team, I mean, here on the Forerunner server, we're down into, I mean, like 12th place, less than 1 million for teams running that composition at the moment. And that's even with a Violetta Vane in, and she's obviously pretty critical to making those teams work. So. And and again, in light with this, obviously they've announced that there is a bug, and the anti-heal strategies, which we're all running at the moment to get big scores, are not going to work in future runs of this content.
So you're going to try it now, then, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try what I saw in the content from using Banana Luck strategy. So I've got A1. This guy, Brain, Rygar.
Rygar.
Sun Wukong, Kigiri, Yearless, mine's A5 for better or worse. A3 Ezereth, A2 Demi, and A1 Magda, because after pulling her twice on her first banner, she's never dropped for me again.
Never again.
Never again. And an A2 Dasomi. So let's just run this through. I have no idea of the timings, so I'm probably going to get a terrible score, but let's have a look at this and see where we go. So the basic premise here from Banana Luck was to get Sun Wukong down pretty early and get him buffed. Oh, go away! Get him buffed by her, and then we have Kigiri on the other side. We have Rygar behind. We go. She's in the middle. Ezereth in. I'm going to do this slightly different from him. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that. And then what he said was you pretty much took Demi and Kigiri off autos and put everyone else on autos, and then you just kind of leave it to run. And what you use is the auto. You use Kigiri when the feather storm is coming up at the there, and yeah, and then you just kind of leave it.
A storm smite. The next one will be a feather storm.
Yeah, and if you've got Kigiri, I probably don't have enough regen on to get this guy back. No.
That's it. You keep spamming it.
That's how it works, right? Yeah, I probably need a bit more regen on him to make this work properly. Okay, now they're splitting. So we'll get into this. I don't think I've got so many. Yeah. Blazing Flare. So if I go Kigiri about here.
Okay.
Yeah. And Dasomi's really good for keeping people inspired, for keeping the debuffs off your team. He's a really, really good unit. He's just getting more use in more and more content, especially as they're putting out more content that puts consistent debuffs on your team. Another Blazing Flare.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not going for the anti-heal then, no? Okay.
No, I messed up the anti-heal, so...
Oh, this would be nice to see then. So this is the timings. You have to kill them both in. So you've only killed one off. We'll kill the other one. Yeah. No. So this is a normal mode. This is how they're expecting it to run.
Yeah.
And that's level 1. That is the bottom of the heap that they're expecting it to run at.
Yeah.
Those twins need their HP docked.
Yeah.
To allow normal players with normal accounts to actually achieve small rewards.
Yeah. Ezra doing Ezra things. I am running Rygar with his exclusive gear. I don't know if that's going to make a significant difference. Yeah, I definitely need more regen on this Kigiri. And here come the girls.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So you'll have a burn, which lowers your attack. So your attack goes down by 50%. So that's the one you want to get really dispelled, so you can do some damage.
You can't dispel it. Oh no, you can increase. You get increased damage.
Yes, you can. No, okay. That's you look at the burn.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
The burn there reduces your attack by 50%.
15% every 2 seconds. Oh no,
So you take
your
magic
attack
damage
is
by
reduced. Oh, God.
15%. Yeah, your attack is reduced by 50%.
Okay.
See, the other one just does a poison where your healing's reduced by 50%, which is fine because it's not that hard to heal through.
Yeah.
And it doesn't appear to stack.
Yeah.
See, now you've got that debuff on, you'll just get around. Maybe you'll get her up in time, but very possibly not, because you're now about to go into the next burn.
Yeah.
So you need the anti-heal now, if anything.
It's up.
There you go. It's up. There you go. Did you do enough damage on them both? And you'll see this time their HP. There you go. It's already gone. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, makes a huge difference.
If anything, I prefer it like this than the real way.
Yeah. It's a long stage.
Is it?
Up to 15 minutes.
Yeah, you've got 20 minutes on it. But I mean, I don't know anyone who's going to push the full 20 minutes, no matter which way round you do it, to actually get that much damage done on the twins in, because you've got 10 seconds. That cast bar that they share is a 10-second cast bar. So you don't have particularly long to smash through all your damage.
No.
So their HP needs to be reduced significantly, I would have thought, for players to do that.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of the things they're monitoring through this stage. Close that time. But anyway. And they're back. Okay, so we've got the firestorm.
We've got blaze.
Yeah, blaze.
And then poison.
Yeah.
Blaze.
And here's the poison. Yeah, everyone's nicely cleansed. So the Somi is so good for dealing with debuffs.
I wonder if we get someone who does block debuffs or something like that.
Maybe.
Because there are certain heroes that can do it on themselves, can't they? Become immune to debuffs for short periods of time. So are we going to get a hero that just actually puts it out as a buff on the whole team or within attack range or whatever?
Yeah, they're gone again. And that's 500,000 down.
In your first 6.5 minutes. There you go.
Yeah. But does the damage scale up as through the phases? Does it get more damage done to? Do you do more points to the boss the longer you survive?
Not that I'm aware of, no. But they appear to do more damage to you. If that's any help.
Great. No one wants that.
No. Penny's having a bit of a revival recently as well, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
Another bit of content that she's usable for. Not next time it comes out, obviously, because they're fixing this, so she'll be back to just Matrix. But I mean, up until then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Demi is come an absolute long way from where she first came out and was like one of the most hated ancient lords available. And she's just doing so well. I'm really pleased they fixed the dots on top of Ezereth as well, because there was a phase where there was a Forerunner patch, and if you were in the World Eater and you couldn't tell the difference between the two modes, the Destroyer and the World Eater. And it was really irritating.
They're going to be bringing out the same sort of thing for Ivar later, so you know how many blades he's got.
No! Okay, Rygar's gone.
Oh, it's all going downhill now. This is it.
Who knows?
The other thing is you get an additional 30 seconds each time you get killed.
Hero dies. Yeah.
On your thing, so you're up to 90 seconds at the moment.
Yeah.
I think so. Anyway.
Yeah, it was 75. Well, so far the only person who's died was Desomi. Was Demi first up.
Demi.
So
yeah, so she'll be on 9. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see your next death. See if it's per hero.
Takes a long time.
Yeah, and that's the cycle of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the cycle of it. But again, you've got to have a bigger account to get there, to get the bigger rewards.
Yeah.
And then that will drive the wedge between anyone tuning into the game to catch up. The way to catch up is obviously spend your way out.
These are supposed to be challenge stages. They are supposed to be like, for everyone else, there's the standard codex, and this is the if you've got the account to push it, here's a bit of a bigger challenge for you. So I think maybe it's a bit of a balance, and it's not necessarily content for everybody, and that's okay. I mean, I say that as an in-game player, but it is something that they've got to keep everyone within the game satisfied. So I think it is one of those things that you just kind of have to accept that you're not always going to be able to get the biggest scores when new content comes out. It's Withering Venom, and then Blaze seems to be on my run at the moment.
Yes. Yeah, it's always the same.
Okay.
You get a Blaze, 2 Withers, Blaze. There you go. Anti-heal.
Mistimed Kigiri, but it doesn't matter. They're so Cindered Skyfall didn't have enough on the other one, so it's going to take a big hit.
We'll get 1. Is this Benny gone again?
Yeah. No, wipe.
120, yeah. Blimey. Big hit.
Big hit.
There you go.
So that's it for now. I'll obviously need to go away and do some more plays, but definitely more regen on Kigiri. But maybe it's got decent music. I'm playing with the sound off, so I don't know. But I think I could get tired of that quite quickly. I think, especially on a phone where the interface is very small, that'd be a quite frustrating battle, I think. Okay, so
however, on the flip side, it is good to see that they are pushing out new stuff all the time.
It is indeed, and the devs are,
because we had the event, we've had that content, haven't we? I mean, they are pushing out a lot of stuff, particularly over the last 2 or 3 months. I think they've done remarkably well about quality of life, about new game content, events. I think they've done remarkably well. So you know, there are games, I should imagine, that spend longer than this screaming for something new to happen in it.
Yeah, I think definitely since the sales got to Savvy has gone through, they've really been pushing out more and more content on a regular basis. The engagement with the community seems stronger. Maybe it's because they know what their future is. They're able to sort of put some of the ideas that they had on the back burner, that they're able to like push them through, things that maybe they had to agree to as part of the sale to sort of say, look, drive up customer engagement, player engagement, drive up the communication, and grow your game. And this, obviously, one of the best ways to grow your game is being engaged with your community rather than just putting out information posts and then leaving it into the wind, which is how they kind of had been doing it, and like being really on top of absolutely everything. And it's like, no, only our communication is official. But we'll talk about that topic in a little bit more.
We're still waiting for Savvy to actually sign on the dotted line, though, aren't we?
I think it was completed. I think it's been completed. I thought it was completed back in March.
Oh, no, they've entered final discussions, but I don't think Savvy have signed on the dotted line.
Ah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I don't have a spare 6 billion. So
no. And if I had 6 billion, I'm not sure I'd put it into a mobile gaming company. But Okay, so Dev Insights. Dev Insights, this was the Dev Insights which came out just as I was publishing the last episode, in the way they often do this to me. Is they're like, wait till I've recorded and then they push out the Dev Insights. It's a little bit irritating, the timing. If they could do it on a Saturday morning, it'd be much better for me. Right, so Dev Insights.
I'm sorry about that. Hopefully I pressed mute in time.
Yeah, it was fine. Didn't pick it up. So a couple of things in this. There was the Cyrus patch, which went live, I think, in the previous patch on global, which is to look at the interaction between his. Oh no, sorry. It was to use how he uses his ultimates during auto battles. So if you kill his skeleton with a flying unit, he's got full rage bar, he doesn't immediately cast another skeleton. He waits until he's attacked. So if you can kill his skeletons without him being engaged in fighting, you can then snipe him potentially with other units because he's been.
That seems like a big setup.
Yeah, but it can happen, and so
yeah.
Secondly, an update to Rage, to Lust. A lot of people have said that they want an update to her. Obviously, one of the war mods, Ali Catters, is pushing for an update to her. I mean, she changed her name to Buff Lust for a long period of time. Anyway, there's a. They keep saying they want to, but it's like, oh, but it's going to mess up other people's auto runs. It's like, look, you managed to screw up half the community's Abyss runs for in the last week. So yeah, what's the deal? And then the funniest thing of all was the fact that they blame it on a Nerrissa skin. So
that Nerrissa skin everyone got.
That well-known Nerrissa skin that isn't actually System Gnosis.
Yeah.
No, they've actually. I think they've. No, they've taken it down. Oh no, here it is. It's the auto fight anomalies. The new skin for Nerrissa and the optimization to her cast animations caused a problem with the auto fight frame sync. It's like, yeah, we don't have that skin. So Gallery Nerrissa, she has no skin.
Are they saying that they're gonna have a skin soon and it is gonna mess your runs up?
Well, there's. I know a couple of people in our guild on Forerunner server who had their Abyss runs messed up after a patch, and I don't know if they're running Nerrissa. I don't know what the deal is, but apparently there is a skin which is not yet available, but it's managed to screw up a load of people's runs, which is really, really random. That is an issue. So yes, that was really weird. And they say that if you have been affected by it, they'll give you they'll give you if you run Nerrissa in Drake's Chasm or Titanic rooms up to and including the end of end of May, so you can do this for another 2 days. You can get the highest reward chest. So, not saying that you should deploy Nerrissa in your guild boss runs in order to abuse this feature, but you could deploy Nerrissa in these runs in order to abuse this generosity from the devs. Slight oversight, I think, on the timing of that from them, but I guess it's because the Titanic Ruins is on a weekly rotation, so they can't limit it to midweek interactions. There was another thing about buffing Rivenhold's.
It's coming again.
He's A3 because his A3 is now very similar to the fact his exclusive. So his exclusive artifact gives him 300 rage after casting his ultimate. His A3 gives him rage per unit that is in his range that he's healing during that time, and that I think it caps out about 300. So it's about the same basically. And there's obviously they're not stacking, so otherwise other people wouldn't be complaining. They'd be going, awesome, more rage, I can cycle his ultimates faster. But no, there's obviously it's not working that way. So they're obviously
they're also looking at his Lord skill as well, aren't they?
Yeah, to try and make it
in the previous ones.
Yeah, because it's functionally weaker than Elder. So the North Throne now effectively have 3 Lord skills. They've got survivability with Haas, they've got damage with Elder, and they've got semi-survivability. They've got Bruiser, sort of hit extra health, more damage when shielded combination. It's kind of half Elder, half Haas. If you've got a shield, you do a special debuff. Yeah, indeed. And it's neither one nor the other, and it's significantly weaker than just running Elder as the Lord, and I don't think that was ever the intention. I think it's supposed to be on par. But he's a inspiration unit, so maybe they thought the inspiration would overall compensate, because generally you can deploy him in a way that he's covering everybody anyway. So
yeah.
And I think this one was my favourite one. Is the artifact forge system and rate up events being improved. I've noticed that even with a 10 times boost, the math chance of getting a specific exclusive exceeding low, leading to extreme dry streets. I am fully on board with any improvements to this system, because the number of times I've done forging on this and I've got more of the artifacts I didn't choose to be on rate up. Specifically, they'll give you like a choice of 3, and they'll say choose one of those to be on your rate up. I will generally hit the ones which I didn't pick of the 3 significantly more than I will for the ones who are on rate up. So
yeah, it'd be nice if they did do something. I don't know. The thing is, for a lot of these at the moment, they do put things like in upcoming or future events, or keep an eye out. They're not.
You feeling it's a bit airy fairy and it's not specific enough? You'd like more of a detailed roadmap.
Well, they say they've got it, so share it. Just.
Well, I mean, I think to that, I mean, there wasn't really anything else in the. Oh, I think the other one was the only other one in here that I wanted to pull out was. Endgame content was they wanted to make the final content, endgame content, more strategic rather than just have a HP pool or specific heroes. So
a nice idea.
I think that's a really nice idea. We've got 2 very, very hot off the press things to talk about, which I think cover those. We'll go to the hero one first, so we'll just dive out of this. And right, so the first one was a video which came out from Fastidious a couple of days ago. I'm just going to sort of skip through to various sections of this video rather than put the whole thing on. But there are 3 new heroes on the way. So we've got Su Yi, who is a Supreme Arbiter North Throne Tactician, Gushi, a Star Piercer and Infernal Blast Marksman, and Lulu, who is a North Throne Tactician. So we've got some details on them. It looks like there's going to be a new event associated with them based on the information they've given to Fastidious. And this is something which they have... certainly the podcast has been asking for a long time, this sort of advanced communication of things coming. If the leaks I've seen are accurate, it's I would have liked a bit more advanced notice, especially after the pick your own limited hero that we've just had. I think this is going to be another big summon event, and then we've got the anniversary, and we know we've got a collaboration coming up. So there's a lot going on at the moment, and it's very difficult to balance as a.
This was part of the anniversary.
Well, I think this is prelude to anniversary, if the dates I've seen for this are right. So it's like a month in advance of the anniversary.
So are we going to get a big event every month now? Is that how we're looking at this?
Maybe. I mean, this is there's like new mini games in this. So here we go. So some details about the heroes.
I'm Peggy, a captain, and my ship crashed at sea.
This is something I have.
There's no direction.
I want more clarification on at the moment. Are we going to have to do, as smaller content creators like myself, I have to do more sort of reaction videos to Fastidious' video, or am I actually going to get access to this information myself to talk about? So anyway, Suyu, burst-orientated AoE damage dealer, a limited deployment mechanic. I think you can deploy her 2 to 3 times around. And she's like Valara. She can be on ground tiles, she can be on platform tiles. She's got a bit of Mina in there. She does immobilize. She's got a bit of Malvira. She pulls people in. So yeah,
pushing Winter's Bite, aren't they?
They are. There's a lot of Winter's Bite push at the moment. So we've had the Lynx rework, which buffed her Winter's Bite. We've had Akira come out, who does amazing things with Winter's Bite. We've got Link. Sorry, Yimmeritz had a rework to make his Winter's Bite more effective and his Winter's Domain stronger. And I think even the Galaxy Horse, whose name escaped me again. Got his name.
Space Goat.
Space Goat, yeah, the Space Goat guy. I think he has some Winter's Bite stuff going on with him as well. So I think there's a lot to be going on with Winter's Bite. And yeah, it's a really powerful thing because it slows, and if you do it 3 times on the enemy, they get frozen. Freeze then means they're immobilized, they can't attack. Reduces your incoming damage, improves your survivability, makes things a lot easier to manage in hectic stages. And especially when you've got heroes like Akira and Lynx who are doing bonus damage to units inflicted with it as well. So it's really good. Right, so next up we've got a fighter. Oh, sorry, not fighter. He's Gushi. My pronunciation of Mandarin is absolutely shocking, so I do apologize. Ramp up physical marksman. So I think he's designed for single target boss content, but he's got different.
The longer he's down for, the further it goes. Yeah, the more he does.
The way he explained it in the video was that he has 2 forms, and if you in certain content you're going to want to spam his ultimate, and other content you're going to want to let him ramp up to another. He's like his first awakening. His first sort of enhanced ultimate. It's a bit like Valderon's dual rage cycle. But if you get certain awakenings, you can get to like a golden state, so like a 3rd level of that that's even greater. But he has a corrupted state if you use his ultimate too early. Now, I don't know if that means it's going to be like the Lucius state where he ramps into a different kind of attack mode, and you lose control of the character, or it's going to be like Cratch, and he's going to be overloaded and you can't do anything for a certain period of time.
Okay, be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
interesting to see.
And the only detail they had about the only thing he had to say about Lulu was the fact that she's got chunky arms and that she's got big hips. Now, I don't know if that's from a lack of information or whether that's what he was focusing on. But the whole reason the devs came out with this is the fact that they want to get ahead of the leaks. So people who have been leaking content which is in the game files for a long period of time, are now kind of like being justified, exonerated for what they've been doing. And the devs are like promising, as part of this communication with Fastidious here, to start communicating with a portion of the content creator community more. I know for a fact that Destined has got new content. We're going to look at something that came out from him just before we started recording this. And hopefully this is the start of a new horizon for Watcher of Realms, and this better communication with the player base just helps drive engagement, helps show people, lets people plan, lets people get engaged more, stay in the game longer, and enjoy the gaming experience, rather than feeling like pressurized into summon for absolutely everything. They go, oh no, well I can skip that because there's something coming up that looks really interesting, and I can do a bit more strategic planning as an individual, rather than having to be very reactive in oh, something's coming in 2 weeks time.
Because a lot of people saved long and hard for Orin, and had a mass summoning session and probably had a fairly good time doing it. I mean, I had horrific luck and got King Hearts A3 and didn't get him, but you know, there was something worth saving for, and I saved for it, and then I went all in for it. Whether you get it or not, that's a different argument altogether. But to actually have the knowledge to go, well, actually, I'm going to go in for this because it's going to be great. You know, it was a good weekend. But you've got to have the lows to get that endorphin rush of the highs. If you don't have the catastrophic lows, then they're not worth anything, are they? So.
On that point, wheeling back to something that I said last week in the video, was that to do with the pity timer. So the pity timer has now been updated for ancient summons. Ancient summons have now got a new pity timer that if you score 130 non-lord ancients, if you pull 130 non-lord ancients without getting a legendary, you will activate a pity counter, and it will
You're guaranteed at 150, aren't you?
You're guaranteed at 150. And I speculated last week that the way I read it was that pity counter started from 0. That has been confirmed by the devs. So everyone's non-lord pity is now 0. Doesn't matter where you were. If you were like 129 at the end of your summoning session and you hadn't got one, you're the same boat as everyone else. 0. Your non-lord pity counter is 0 from today.
What's the ancients on at the moment then?
So this weekend, I believe let's have a quick look. So there is one this weekend. It's Elder and Ardia. So if you went into a summoning session this weekend, I'm assuming that your Lord pity counter is still live. This is a new pity counter. So if you had...
Yeah, it's additional, isn't it?
It's an additional pity counter. So for me, I did actually luck in on Monday morning with my Titanic Ruins rewards. And I did land in Orin. Oh, shut up! You got it on your global account, so you can stop moaning. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I'm with you on my Forerunner account in the guild, though, aren't I? Yeah. So you should be hoping I get it as well.
Right, I do hope you get it. I don't dispute that, but you can't say, oh no, I didn't get him at all. It's like you got him on your spend account, so. So if you were going to go into this pool, regardless of where you were, if you pour 130, you are at an increased chance of getting Ardia on this banner over your Elder.
I don't think it's going to happen much on this banner, but it is something you're going to have to pay close attention to with Lords that you want coming up.
Yeah.
Because you may hit your legendary pity and get a banner hero for your legendary.
Yeah.
Sorry, the dog's trying to bloody help here as well, isn't he? So
makes a change from the cat, so you know.
Yeah, but there we go. Yeah, so you could end up getting a legendary pity, couldn't you, which could knock you out of sync for an increased chance of getting your lord that you're after. So
yeah,
be aware of that. I would say, you know, so something worth thinking about going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely something that you've got to be aware of, because it's quite easy to get so far in and then lose track. But I mean, at least the ancient pity tracker counts the last 300, so you are guaranteed to have coverage of definitely the last non-Lord legendary. But depending on where your Lord legendary pity falls in that, you'll definitely have one, but you might not have two. So and despite what the person in my comments said the other week, it does depend on luck. So yeah. Flame me down in the comment section.
That'll be a change, won't it?
Yeah. Well, normally I get like 2 downvotes, so I mean, maybe a bit of flaming in the comment section is what I deserve. Right, so before we started recording, there's something just dropped. It's brand new. I've not watched it all the way through. We're going to hit it now and watch it together and react to it, because I don't have a lot of information about it. And let's see what it said. We might pause, rewind, and play with it a bit. But yeah, this is it. So it's a brand new boss from this. They've announced to the devs, new boss, crazy special, but twin boss leak from the devs to
Hey guys, just previously, I think yesterday, I said that we would start getting early access information that we are allowed to share, kind of akin to leaks, but this time officially. And this is yet another one of those already. And this is a new boss mode. It's supposed to be like a tier above Immortal Codex. And it is really, really cool looking and has some really unique designs and mechanics. And I want to share what we have so far with you guys. Now, keep in mind that this is more concept art and early development images. They do want me to specify that some things might be adjusted a little bit before release, but that's more of just like a formality. Usually it's pretty similar. I'm just going to show you guys the pictures, talk about it, and then talk about what they want, us to say. So
I think the first thing to spot here is this base very much looks like the Titanic ruins sort of layout, where you've got a couple of tiles in the middle, you've got some ground tiles behind, and then you kind of got these weird corner tiles, and then a selection of platform tiles. That very much looks like the Apocalypse boss. There's kind of like a weird golden mask on the boss. I think that looks really cool. But yeah, we'll see.
Just getting into it, this is a brand new boss and a brand new mode. This is what we call a dual boss, or a twin boss mode. And it's supposed to be basically 2 bosses in one. Kind of reminds me of the Magna boss we have right now, because it does split. But I do think it'll be a little bit different. Regardless, this is supposed to be coming out in about a couple months in the second half of the year. We have no exact date, but it will be this year. And it's pretty cool looking. As you could see, there's a lot happening. Anyways, just getting into it. This is going to be a boss centered around 2 worlds, quote unquote. The outer world and the inner world. I assume one of the worlds is going to be the single target looking boss. As you can see, there are 2 heads, but they are one entity in the screenshot. When you move on to the next one, you can see that they are now split.
I do think this just looks amazing, this art. I think it looks really dramatic. I hope this is going to be a fun boss.
Yeah, but I mean, last time they did a dual boss was the Phantasmal Nightmare. And that has been a bloody nightmare. When was the last time you had it?
Well, they only ran it once.
It's
over a year since they last ran it. But that's because it was cheesed with a broken artifact. So even though they've patched the artifact, they haven't run it again. Well, I mean, and anyone who's got Orin would probably just run Orin on it now and then stick vulnerabilities all over the place and just smack him upside the head.
The content we're never going to see again, then, yeah.
What's going to change throughout the fight is the vibe I'm getting, which I think is very fun. I like it when bosses change like throughout, and it's not just, hey, click the same ults at the same time over and over again, because nothing ever changed. You know, that's a little bit lame. I really enjoy bosses that are more like this, personally. Now, the gameplay, the core gameplay that they wanted to let us know is it would be an ultimate test for single target and dual target heroes. And you can see this in the designs that they do show us.
So that's more content where Yanis is going to be, the Phoenix Lady is going to be deployed. Once she's got her 3 Phoenixes out, she can target 2 bosses. So I think
we're going to see more heroes like that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more heroes like that. So that's something to bear in mind. If you see one of those guys coming up in future, that's going to be something you're going to be wanting to be chasing, just so that you're prepared for when this boss comes out and that you've got the required units.
As you can see,
I think Valletta Vane's going to be becoming more and more impressive then, isn't she? She does really make up the team with the amount of burns she puts out.
Yeah.
It sounds like Infernal's going some now. Yeah,
I wasn't that keen on her when she came out. I mean, I completed all of the content which I needed Infernals for, but yeah, now there's a bit more of a push on Infernals. I can see the value in having her in my roster just because she removes the need to have a permanent healer in there, because she's kind of like healing the team as she's going. So
yeah.
And she's doing damage as well and increasing the damage of burning that's on units. So she's like a nigh enhanced. And at the moment I've got the basic copy. I've got a nigh, but this is like Violetta is a nigh on steroids. So anyway, back to this video.
Wukongs, your Kagiris, your single target like Dracula and things like that, right? But then when it splits into 2 in this screenshot and also this screenshot, you want people that can hit at least 2 targets, right? So this is where people like Lady Alexandra would be maybe a little bit better than someone else, right? Which is pretty cool. Now, something I will say is one of the heroes that we were told about as well as a sneak peek. Now, this guy is going to be on test server somewhat soon, to my knowledge, but either way, his entire design is based off of being single target, being able to switch to dual target, and they emphasize dual target in not only this guy's kit, but also the boss that is coming. So it seems like for this boss specifically, he is designed for it, or will at least be very, very good because it really benefits his kit, which I think is definitely something to keep in mind when you're thinking of pulling for this guy. Maybe he'll be...
So that's something to bear in mind. In this new event, Suyu is ancient, and probably going to be like is ancient exclusive, but she might be like Dracula and an ancient exclusive limited. It was not clear on whether these two are going to be a long-term addition to the pool or whether they're just for a limited amount of time, like a collaboration.
I would guess that these are going to be a long-term push into the pool. The collab is coming, isn't it? So yeah. I would imagine they would leave it until the collab before they do like a Dracula style or Dracula-esque scenario of Must Ball 90. But... yeah,
I mean, and that's actually something to bear in mind as well. We will talk about, so just a quick interlude. They did announce a mini teaser for the Assassin's Creed collaboration this week. Very short interlude. They did pretty much confirm that one of the heroes coming to the game is Ezio Auditore, which is like from Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and I think maybe one other Assassin's Creed game. But I mean, it's like one of the longest running heroes in the game in the Assassin's Creed saga, and I think someone with more knowledge of the Assassin's Creed series suggested that the mask that was shown suggested it was one of the guy from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So maybe that there is more heroes to be announced, and we will see what comes over time. But teaser 1 is out, and it obviously isn't coming soon because this is supposed to be coming very soon. and we'll have to see what else is if there are more teasers before it actually arrives. But I mean, I was slightly concerned when it first was announced with that teaser, because the last time we had a teaser like that, the Dracula event arrived 10 days later, but then they announced, confirmed that Suyu and Gushi were coming, and that seemed to be they're coming very, very soon. So I think that's going to be sooner than Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, S tier for the new boss. We don't know, right? I assume the boss will come out far beyond when this hero comes out. Regardless, they also said that there's a connection between the outer world and the inner world. Once again, it's an early glimpse. I don't actually know the details for that, but that is something that they mentioned as well. Now, they said that you are going to have this as an addition to the existing Immortal Codex. It'll be its own thing, and it'll be kind of an ultimate difficulty, is what they said. So most likely this will be very, very challenging content as well.
So just to stop there, I mean, that picks up on what you were saying earlier about having content that is gated to a portion of the community. And I think, yeah, I can see the advantage of it, but I fully understand your concerns that you're basically saying to a portion of the community, no, you can't play yet. You need to go away and get stronger. But I don't know if there's an easy way to handle that, other than, especially as there are people coming up.
No, there's not. No, there's not an easy way to handle it at all. But I mean, if someone starts the game, can they ever catch up? If at all, other than spend their way through it. Is that the only option on how you catch someone up? Yeah,
well, but if you think about when you're coming up with people with 3-4 year old accounts, it's going to be very difficult to ever catch.
Oh yeah,
unless you rob a bank and invest all of that money into this. But it is going to be one of those things where the later you are coming to a game, it's always much harder to catch up, and I think you have to do a bit of managing your own expectations about what you can hope to achieve. I mean, yes, you can get new heroes and you can advance new content, and if people have decided, oh, I've had enough, I'm not spending, you will overtake them eventually, because if you're invested in the game and you're willing to spend money on the game, then you will be able to catch up. Yes, they'll have more opportunity, have done more gear farming, but power creep is always a feature in these games. If you're involved in the game and you're getting the new heroes, then you will be able to sort of like push the content and get further. So I think it's something that people are quite easy to say, oh, it's completely unfair, but there is always a power creep. They've recently introduced Sun Wukong as a starter limited run, which is amazing.
Fantastic.
It's actually amazing.
Absolutely brilliant. That was a really good decision.
There is not a boss in the game that you cannot do well deploying as Sun Wukong, because he does well in every single boss mode that there is. He's great in the campaign because he's frustrating. You can use him in GVG, so you can start contributing to your guild as soon as you get involved in that. And he's just a really solid unit, and definitely one that you should be pushing to A5.
Yeah, they have said they're going to stick to doing more pick your own limiteds as well, aren't they? They did the high, but they were going to do one every 2 months
or something. And I mean,
1 to 2 months.
It's going to be really, really difficult to sort of keep up with this game as a free-to-play player. Now, obviously,
you might have to pick and choose at that point.
Yeah, as a content creator, I'm fortunate in the fact that I get additional gem rewards, so I don't have to rely on my blue stash as much as other people. But it is definitely something which is more challenging for some people.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. Back to the video.
They also said that it would be highly strategic with interconnected mechanics beyond the single boss and twin boss encounters. you will need to adjust for both of them at the same time. So basically, it's 2 bosses in one. That's the whole premise. That's the whole thing, right? You know. And they said they're gonna put in a lot of effort to make the gameplay system and strategic depth shine through and be really rich. And that is basically all they told us. So once again, it is kind of like hey, we're developing this and it'll be out very soon. So keep that in mind. Here's some glimpses as to how it works. Either way, I think it looks cool. I'm definitely excited. I love boss content. I love boss content where you have to actually use your brain in order to figure it out instead of just, hey, slap single target damage and just auto ult, you know. So I hope that it is actually kind of difficult. Also, the harder it is, the more people have to watch my guides. Let's go. No, I'm kidding. Either way, these are the images right there. I don't know what these two are supposed to mean, because usually in my head I'd be like, if it's 2 phases, wouldn't there only be 1 dual phase? But there's
Well, I think he's missing a trick there. It's one of those like the forming of when they're just in the process of separating, and the other is when they're separated. So, or when they're separated, when they're reforming. So I think, or maybe they switch sides, because in that one they're there, and they're on the other side. So it looks like they go to different sides. I mean, obviously this is concept.
Does this mean am I going to get tacticians and have to swap sides for my tacticians to do magic damage and physical on each other side?
And
or have I just invented a new boss fight?
I think, well, I mean, that could be it, actually. Because, I mean, if you look, this guy does have more, the guy on the left does have more armor. He looks like he might be more resistant to certain types of damage. The other guy doesn't have any sort of like big chunky armor. So maybe you wail physical on him and you wail magic on the other guy. Or maybe it's vice versa and you go physical on the armor guy.
Remember where you heard it first, yeah?
We do have a good legacy of like calling it right, just because we've been in the game a long time and we've seen stuff. So we do tend to have a pretty good accuracy rate for these things. For our wild speculations, we hit pretty high. But yeah, that's that. I think. I mean, what else he's got to say in the video?
really, really glad that they are doing this now, because it's something that the community has been asking for a very long time. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on what you're seeing.
Yeah, so that's that. That's the end of that. Honestly, I think it's good. I mean, it's more content. Obviously, I know some people were feeling a bit overwhelmed after the patch landed, because you had 9 stages of basic and 6 stages of star pieces to do all on Tuesday when the patch arrived. It's like, but I know most of you a good portion of the community has now got their hands on Varro and are starting to find ways to use him. I did see a very fun use of him in GVG as just a stall unit. I think there's uses for him in arena, just in single target arena, AoE arena, because his minion can get out so far. It can get right into the spawn lines of the enemies. So he's as disruptive as an Ingrid in terms of the chaos he can cause.
Interesting times ahead then.
Yeah, definitely. I did some playing around with an Oren, Valara, Varro, Dracus team against a sort of a classic Oren, Ingrid, Valara, Arbiter composition, and I was keeping pace, and the only reason I lost in the match was because I wasn't counting the waves properly, and I missed an ultimate from Oren to keep pace in round 9, and so I lost out. But it was really interesting to play with. I think he's going to be more disruptive than some content creators are saying. So I think there's more to come from him, and I think he's just fun to play.
Good news.
Yeah. So. Anything else? Final days of Gear Dungeon 3. If you haven't done your Gear Dungeon 3 runs, don't forget to use your keys.
Or Gear Dungeons.
gear dungeons in general.
Shop, obviously attached to it.
Yeah,
'Cause that closes for a period of time, isn't it? Make sure you use up some crystals because that's tied into your elf pass, is it? Your monthly elf pass thing. Use X amount of crystals or something, is it? Use 5,000 or something a month.
I can't remember.
New elf pass comes out, doesn't it?
New elf pass in 2 days. Yeah, so
in 2 days. So make sure you've got your 19.99, isn't it, for the new elf pass?
Yeah, that's
because there's going to be another layer attached to it, isn't there? It's from what I remember, 14.99 for the sacred one, 9.99 for the other one.
The enhanced.
And if you buy them together, 19.99, isn't it? Something like that.
Probably.
War of Fates.
War of Fates is coming to an end, but honestly, if you're not in the top 100 at this point, you might as well give up because you're not going to be.
But if you haven't got all your personal rewards yet, where are they? Up to what is it, 75k or something like that? No, that's all dust, isn't it? What is about the bit?
Yeah, 75k is the
75
stuff.
For the ancient stuff. Then go and forge some artifacts.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing
level up some artifacts. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to do it, isn't it? Level up some artifacts.
Yeah, forging artifacts and leveling them up is a really good way of getting points.
Loads better than a times 10.
Yeah.
Wizard's Horde, that's an interesting one as well. So the Wizard's Horde event, there's always some interesting. Have you done them all, or have you?
I have, yeah.
There's some interesting ones running. What's the promotion things, aren't there? You can run the promotion things, get stamina. So you pick up more stamina that costs you to run them. So make sure you go and run them. Yeah.
15 runs gets you 600 stamina. So it's definitely a good.
And you could run stage 1 if you wanted to, couldn't you? There's
Absolutely.
No reason you've got to run, extreme 2.
Yeah. Other than the fact that you might get some resources you might want to make use of.
Yeah.
And golds. Yeah. You need to do the gold or experience for the resort for the other one, and then arena 20 times if you want to get some summons.
Yeah.
But you should have done that by now because it was running for long enough. And you got 3 extra summons for completing 20 of the events. So. But yeah, I think that was going on. I think it's been an interesting week. I will try and find some time to do a quick run through of the stages in the Demon Trial, the Endless Ascent. I think it's quite good fun content. It's very difficult to provide a fair view to developing accounts for certain stages because it lets you use your awakened heroes.
Own hero.
Your own BP heroes, and therefore endgame accounts have to cripple themselves to an unknown level to try and give a representation of how difficult these stages might be. There are a couple of challenging levels towards the end, but overall it was pretty straightforward content. So, but it was fun, and it was some nice free rewards, including some void cores of epic and legendary quality. So all good stuff.
Yeah, nice. Hopefully they'll add some more to the Demonic Crusade soon as well. I preferred the Demonic Crusade, I think.
Yeah, they did suggest that there were more stages coming to the Demonic Crusade, either on the main stages and the challenge stage, or the challenge stages. I remember the challenge stages being quite fun. There are some good ones. I think this.
You had like the barriers and things like that in between them, didn't you?
Yeah.
And the barrels to explode, all that sort of good stuff. Really like.
This was
more
a good fun one. And there are a couple of other ones which are quite good with the tankiest Azor that you've ever seen in your life in that stage. But it was it was good fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely hoping for more content on that side of things. The Demon Soldiers are good fun, and what I liked about the Endless Ascent was it actually taught you some GVG strategies as you went along.
Yes.
So it was like teaching you axe daggers. It was teaching you about baiting ultimates and getting through. So it was some really good stuff. I think
Learning curve. Yeah.
It was a good learning curve.
Yeah, the early 20s, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 20. Not it wasn't this one. I think it was 25, maybe. Yeah, this was a good one. This was stage 25.
Yeah.
Where you've got 2 units here with very powerful ultimates and the ability to slow you down.
And you don't have anything that hits platform.
You've got no platform units. You've only got ground units available to you, and it's like, well, how do you get through this?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, that's a fun one. So do try them. I know Mystical's got a guide up on his channel. Do check it out. And I might do one if I get around to it. But otherwise, just enjoy the content. And I think we'll see you all in the next episode, everyone. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.